JP, we're about 20 minutes from planned excavation of the alcove. Just kind of interested in your thoughts, your emotions. You know, we've been waiting 5 years for this day. The activities that are going to take place in the next hour. Do you have any thoughts you'd like to share?
Well, I think this is a realization of the Armijo chapter and the Old Spanish Trail Association's involvement in trying to get to this point by beginning with the discovery of the inscription in September of 2006, and the following year our chapter spent almost a year authenticating this inscription. And when we submitted that to the National Park Service Glen Canyon National Recreation Area, they reviewed it and agreed with our scientific, historical, and other research findings that this inscription, Paso por aquí, Año 1776, is authentic and can be historically linked to the Dominguez-Escalante expedition.
Suchek, and I am the manager of the Cultural Heritage Program here at Glen Canyon National Recreation Area. Jim has asked me to speak to the significance of the 1776 inscription from the federal government's perspective, from the perspective of the National Park Service. The discovery of this site makes it a rare, unique, world-class discovery. It links the old world with the new. And as a representative of the National Park Service, we have a mission. And we have been delegated to ensure that when discoveries like this are made, that we find out about them, that we document them. And I want to give credit and appreciation to the Old Spanish Trail Association for actually discovering this site. And I think the hard struggle they've had in helping us recognize that we needed to assist them in the documentation of this process.
Yeah, this is a White's metal detector, proudly made in the USA. And this is the detector we used back in 2009 for the original scan of this alcove to determine if there's any metallic evidence that could be attributed to the 1776 Dominguez-Escalante expedition, who were here on November 6th of that year. And that initial scan, we came up with 18 metal anomalies within the back of the alcove out here on the veranda and just bailing off the edge down here. We found 18 anomalies. Some of them are obviously surface litter. They're not visible, but they're within probably half an inch of the surface. And I recall about maybe 6 or 7 of those 18 are deeper than 5 inches. And I think those are the ones that are probably of a heightened interest, because generally, aluminum foil, aluminum pop tops, and things like that, they won't settle over time. But the heavier objects will. They'll actually transition down through, particularly soft soil like this, sand. They'll actually move down, gravitate down over the years. And this area here, it was underwater briefly back in probably 1980 up through 1983 during the high water events of Lake Powell. And so this alcove for a time was underwater, so people could actually probably drive their houseboat right up to here, or their power boats, and anchor in here. It's a good place to get out of the sun, out of the heat, and July, August. And so a lot of those anomalies are probably attributed to that period of time when people were recreating right here.
Well, I would call this a limited subsurface testing project. This is limited because we're specifically investigating the magnetic anomalies. We're not going to excavate the entire surface or subsurface of the alcove. This will be very concentrated around specific archaeological items that are of interest to us.
So can you explain what we're doing here?
Yeah, we're currently just setting up, this is going to be a 1 meter by 1 meter unit, which we are putting the anomalies in the center of it, and then we're going to excavate down 10 centimeter levels unless we find artifacts or definitive stratigraphy. And currently we're just setting up the unit and making sure everything's exactly 1 meter by 1 meter with a hypotenuse of 1.41.
It's a very emotional and unbolting experience to come onto the location and see the inscription and to know the story, and then to imagine what it was like for those folks to be here when they made the Dominguez Escalante expedition, when they made this inscription.